Now, I do really quickly want to touch on something that happened on Raw because it kind of put a nice bow on it. Raw did video segments throughout the night showing some of the turn and the fallout and asking AJ Styles backstage what he thought. And you're getting this feeling of this has legitimate ripples going throughout the company. CM Punk starts the show with arguably the best promo that he's given in years. And he's had some great moments on the mic. But Punk starts off Raw by calling out his enemies, knocking things off the announce desk, taking the whatchamacallit that has Raw on it or WWE on it, takes it off the mic. And he says, who should I talk about? People yell, The Rock. And he calls The Rock a bald fraud. He goes on to call John Cena a bald fraud and notes the hypocrisy. And that Cena, who says, you can't see me, he says, we can all see through you. Everyone can now see through you and see exactly who you are. He also calls out Seth Rollins, and then he and Rollins get into it. And I've seen the funniest comparison is Peter Griffin and the Chicken, where they, no matter what happens, no matter how much distance is put between them, they start duking it out. That show had a continuous thread of Punk and Rollins and their hatred. And I said to myself, great, we're going to get that longer-term program between these two. Because if you remember, I compared Rollins and Punk and that short build-up to their match to like what Punk and Eddie Kingston had in AEW, where I said, like, I'd like a longer program. And instead it was very, very compact, and I felt like they left meat on the bone. We are now going to get CM Punk versus Seth Rollins next week on Raw in a steel cage. And man, I don't know if Roman Reigns is going to show up. It would make a lot of sense, especially given how things played out at the Royal Rumble. There are so many stories right now that are swirling within creative and within this company. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, there is nothing quite like the build to WrestleMania. And now things have ratcheted up 5, 10, 15 levels. So if you're a WWE fan, this is all music to your ears. And this makes you almost feel justified for the time and effort that you put into consuming as much content as you can.